Assalamu alaikum. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri. Wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Waj'al li waziran min ahli Haruna akhi. Ushdud bihi azri washriku fi amri. كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Welcome, dear friends. Inshallah, we are studying from the book The Rays, the 15th Ray, first station, which we started last week. So we will continue with the third phrase, he has no partner. So the author is sharing some of his personal experience, his relationship with the Quran. We discussed how we can relate our life, our living, our events to the events and stories that are mentioned in the Quran. So it's something that as a means of being in touch with the Quran, we can use those. So the author, from his own experience, is using his experience, relating it to the story of the Prophet Joseph, who was in prison, and the author also himself was in prison at some point. And then that made him reflect on this particular prayer. And he said these phrases, which are 11 phrases, which he is studying, he says, are the proofs of divine or necessary existence and dominical unity. So it says it points out the affirmation of divine unity on a vast scale. So these are very powerful, meaningful phrases that he is looking into, and we studied there is no God but God. He is one. I mean, one not being the numeric one, but being an absolute being. And now we're going to touch upon the third phrase, he has no partner. A brief indication of the proof in this is as follows. The source, master, and basis of the supreme sign is the sublime verse. Say, if there had been other gods with him, as they say, behold, they would certainly have sought out a way to the Lord of the throne. And this goes to the end of the verse, which is also called the supreme sign. So these verses from section 17, verse 42, I just pulled them over here. Section 17, verse 42. Oh, probably had there been other gods beside him, as they claim, then they would have certainly sought a way to challenge the Lord of the throne. And then it continues with glorified and highly exalted is he above what they claim. The seven heavens, the earth, and all those in them glorify him. There is not a single thing that does not glorify his praises, but you simply cannot comprehend their glorification. He is indeed most forbearing, all forgiving. I love this particular phrase in the verse. There is not a single thing that does not glorify his praises, but You simply cannot comprehend their glorification. He is indeed most forbearing and in all forgiving, since I may be not in tune or not be paying focused or conscious enough to be acknowledging the creation out there in the universe. As he says, the heavens and the earth, everything is there to glorify all the qualities of the Lord of the universe. So he's calling these the verses of the supreme sign. The author, I mean, is calling that. So that is, if God had any partners and others had intervened in creation and interfered in his dominicality, the order of the universe would have been spoiled. So if God had any partners and others had intervened in creation, in giving existence in creation, and interfered in his dominicality, his lordship, his dominion over each and every being, the order of the universe would have been spoiled. Because as a created being, there's no way we can do any interference in existence. Just like the art and the artist that drew the art, anything that's the dot or the paint on the canvas, if it's conscious, cannot do anything to what the artist has drawn on the art. So however, the perfect order in everything, small and large, particular and universal, from the wing of the tiniest fly and the cell of the pupil of the eye to the numberless birds which fly through the air and the solar system, furnishes indubitable and decisive evidence for the impossibility and non-existence of any such partners. So the perfect order in the universe that we observe also testifies self-evidently to the existence and unity of the necessarily existent one. So the universe is our, that we can witness, is our proof, evidence. When we study the universe, we can see that there is no indication of anything that is created is doing whatever the events that are happening in the universe, or however the principles or the orders that is in existent, the system that is out there functioning cannot be interfered with or hindered. We may do some things by choosing some things here and there, but we're not giving existence or creating any of those things. So I will pause here to hear if anybody would like to mention anything on he has no partner, the third phrase. Brother Ali, go ahead, please.
Okay, I have a question, just like looking at the verse. Say if there had been other gods with him, as they say, behold, they would certainly have sought out a way to the Lord of the throne. Sought a way to challenge the Lord of the throne. I'm not sure I understand this verse. So if I understand it like the Greek gods, then that might make sense. Oh, they would fight each other, it would be chaos. But our perception, or the word God, and the word here, ilah, we're saying it's an absolute one, correct? So by definition, doesn't it just, how does that verse even make sense to say if there had been other gods? Just like by definition, shouldn't that be a false statement? Or is the word gods in here, does it mean something else? Or is it trying to encompass something else? And if there are multiple absolute gods, I mean, that's irrelevant for us, because absolute by that, like, we just don't understand absolute, or it's like absolute in the sense that there's a necessity of one. Like, we don't go into further detail than that. We don't try to divide it because we cannot. So I'm just the
Sure.
verse.
Can you define a little bit what you understand by gods in your comment?
Yeah, so if there have been other gods, so the first understanding is in this place of absolute, which I can't conceive, there are multiple gods, which again doesn't make sense to me. Like, it's not something that I think about or I try to conclude, because it's not. It's just it would just be baseless thinking so it doesn't help me in any way to think about it that way. The other idea is if a god was within the universe, something like a Greek god or something, and then if there were multiple gods, then they would fight each other. But the God perception we have is not, or the God of Allah that we believe is not of something of the universe. So what I'm trying to say is I don't understand what the verse is trying to teach me, since it doesn't make sense to me. Like, if that makes sense.
I think my friend sitting next to me, and many other people, to me, really, we have to be very careful about the word ilah or God, and and also shirk, partner. La sharika la, because what we are studying here, the phrase la sharika la, and a partner, it is translated as partner. This is a problem translation, a problematic translation, which is very common, by the way, because of the lack of one word representing or translating the word shirk or sharik. La sharika la. Sharik. Sharik, dictionary meaning in partner. And also throne. Dictionary meaning is throne, chair. Yeah. And somebody, the king sits in a special chair, special throne. Usually it is used, for the chair, we call it chair, but we don't say throne. But we don't say the king is sitting in his chair. We say his throne. So it means throne is a special word representing certain quality of the person sitting on it. And this quality is unchallengeable. That is why the throne is this. So these are dictionary meanings. But Quran, although uses the dictionary meanings, but never ever uses in the dictionary meaning. It conceptualizes it within its own purpose. Purpose of it is Quranic purpose. Whatever the Quran aims at to teach, to instruct people. So we have to go back and analyze this word. For example, God. Whether you say it ilah or el-ilah, the God, deity, which is in the Quranic language. Everybody knows Allah. So translated as God. So the main problematic matter is the word shirk. How do we understand shirk? But that is why it is important, the verse narrated here from section Isra, it is 17th section of the Quran, which uses this behold, they have certainly they would certainly have sought out a way to the Lord of the throne. It means that is explaining what shirk is. because everything based on our understanding of throne as a concept used in the Quran. So what is throne in the Quran? Arsh. In other words, kursi. And as words, they are different, of course, may have some slight differences, which I don't know, but almost the same meaning. So if we understand what throne is, then it will be easy to understand what shirk is. Shirk is. And if we understand shirk, what it is, then it will be understand what if there was any other gods besides him. What does it mean? So go back to the really foundational word, throne. Because Quran constructs its verses, ayat, in such a way that the following of each other also explains each other. If you study, for example, Qul huwallahu ahad, you ask the question, say, God is one. What is one? What do you mean by one? Not numerical, that's obvious, but what does the Quran mean? Allahu Samad, the one who doesn't need anything, but everything else is in need of him. Which kind of thing it is? Come on, what do you mean by it? Lam yalid wa lam yulad. Further explanation. All of them is the explanation of Ahad. It's a beautiful example in the Quran. He doesn't give birth. What does it mean? I mean, doesn't give any authority to anybody else to be like him. Absolute. Infinite. No. Walam yulad, he has not received any inherited, any quality from other. That is why it is unique in its state of existence. Right? So we should understand that even not really clear. وَلَمْ يَكُنْ لَهُ كُفُوًا أَحَدٌ. Oh, man. It is very easy if you go this far. Nothing you can liken. Nothing has the quality of him as far as you can see in this world. Equal quality. It means absoluteness in this world. That means ahad. This is an excellent way of explaining the verses by following each other. That's the best example I could find in the Quran. Now, that is why here, if there had been other gods with him, as they say, some people claim that, okay, behold, they will certainly have sought out a way to the Lord of the throne, Rabbul Arsh. So, why would Arsh is to do with it? So, to the end of the, no, that is not the translation. So, we should understand, first of all, Arsh simply, although we frequently repeat this in our discussions in these sections, throne means when you see something and you have to see simple now, in a simple way, who is sitting on it as an authority. It means this is my product, this is my domain. This is where only my word passes. That is what the Arsh is. And in the Quran, everything declares who is sitting on it is throne. Who has the that is very exactly the same thing. The text is explaining small or large, particular or universe, everything is declaring who is the owner of this thing itself, and it is always exercising, executing his authority over the existence of that particular thing. So where is the arsh? Argument by argument, and some people are aware of it, discussing in classical Islamic theology. What is arsh? What is kursi? You cannot understand, stop it. No. Risale-i makes it very simple. There is nothing which has the qualities and nothing in the existence of everything. There is nothing of this universe can claim that I am the owner of this particular thing, which is my production. No one can say that I am the one who is the cause of existence of this atom. And I'm the existence of this atom. I cause that to exist. Nothing of this universe can claim it. But atom exists. Who is sitting on it? This arsh belongs to him. To who? To who? Now, look at the way the atom is created, becoming into existence. It declares who the Lord, the King, sitting on it. It means who can claim the ownership of the existence of and the qualities of this particular atom. If we understand throne, if it is clear, my friends, so this is the throne. That is the Lord of the way. There is nothing who can seek out a way to claim and sit on it. It means this is my work. This is what I have made. This is what I caused to exist. No way, no one can do it. It's beautiful. So it will understand, and it will help understand the meaning of shirk.
Yeah.
Now, shirk means if I say, this thing, whatever it is, what I did, or the wind, or I don't know, sunlight, is sitting on the throne of the existence of this cell, for example, this animal, for example, this molecule, for example, saying that I am the creator of it. And I look at the existence of the thing, whatever is available for me. Maybe I'm eating a vegetable or fruit or cake or whatever. Who is the cause of existence of this thing? Not the combining one. I mean, I know where I am now, the host is combined them. Who is the cause of existence of my host? Who is the cause of existence of the materials used there, even the heat? Who is the cause of, no, what is the cause of existence of the thing? No one can sit on the throne of this matter, declare that I am. So the Quran says, the verse says, if there had been other gods, and anybody who is really able to claim the authority of the existence of anything, everything will be confused. Why? If there was one atom says, I caused, for example, my existence to come into existence, or I caused the existence of something else which is called effects in this culture, cause and effect, cause and effect. I keep saying this. I'm not tired of it. It is very essential. There is nothing as effect as cause in the universe. The universe with its all parts, all particles, everything is can only be effect. Why? Nothing else of this universe can have any authority to be the source of existence of anything else, so that in the universe we may say there is a cause, and some cases are the effects. But I always say, please, don't confuse the practical daily language, saying that, wind cause some houses to be destroyed, or wind destroyed the houses. This is daily language. But if someone uses it, it doesn't mean that, he is assigning partners, means really committing shirk. No. They don't mean it. They are just explaining the physical apparent appearance of the events. But of course, if somebody consciously analyzes it, studies it, and investigates how it comes into existence, and says that really wind came and caused the existence of the destruction of something. Maybe in destruction, in practical language, we may use this, because not the action coming into existence, not the action coming into existence. It means executing the existence of it. But we understand that wind is subject to the order of the universe, which is ultimately subject to the will of the one who established the order of the universe and gave existence to it. So the partner, if the partner, we understand nothing in the universe at all, can claim the quality of being a creator, being an absolute creator, causing something to come into existence, then we understood the Quran says shirk is impossible to claim it. So then who is God then, or Ilah? Who is Ilah? God. Or Allah, God, that the Quran claims. There is no creator in the universe, and the universe exists. It becomes very simple. Now we can say, who caused this universe to come into existence is God. So, but which kind of qualities does it have to have as far as our understanding? But as far as our understanding, we cannot speculate about God, which is the creator. There is no creator in the universe, so I cannot experience it. But I understand that this universe needs a source of existence for me to explain the existence of anything of this universe.
My observation of all of the qualities that I see within existence point to the necessity of a omni-efficacious one, of a one who is the causer of all things.
Everything to come into existence.
Right. Continue constantly.
Now, it reminded me this phrase, I think you know better than I, that's your specialized area. I respect that. The causer of the causes is a practical way of explaining it, not reality, explaining reality of the, because it infers that. Cause, the word which is used by Muslims as well, and the risale-i also, we can see this expression used and utilized for practical reasons, not because there is a cause, but this cause is the causer of other causes. If you say it consciously, deliberately, what are the other causes? Show me one. There is no such thing. There is no such thing. You get it, Abdurrahman?
Yeah.
So, causer of the causes, museppable asbab, is to be understood in this way. I think I'm going into details, but it is necessary. In the Quran, it describes from time to time ahsanul khaliqin. And the risale, the author, the same author, explains what does ahsanul khaliqin, as if it infers that God is the best of all other creators. Is there another creator? No, it's beautifully explained, simply explained, in the risale-i Nur that as you imagine to be the creator of something, no. The best creator, it means really the one who deserves to have the quality of creator. Not that one. God is the one. The creator of the universe is the only creator. Now, transfer this understanding, causer of the causes, and the philosophers used it for other purpose. Risale-i Nur used this for another purpose. Risale-i Nur uses it in order to really draw the attention of the people, saying that you think that this is the cause, sun caused life or caused color of the thing. But the Risale-i Nur says the sun cannot be the cause of the color of the things or life. This is what you think, but it cannot be. There is a one who is the real cause that knocks down your imagination of the sun to be the cause of the color. That is employed by him. For example, the best example is simply the king's example. Yeah. So the king orders people, go and do a building here for me. And a person comes and sees certain architect and other workers are working there. So
Brother Ali, you're muted.
no, okay, I did it on purpose, sorry. All right, now let's go back. The thing that seems to be the cause of something, because you imagine that if there was no sun, there would be no light. So life, that is correct. But sun is there, life is there. It doesn't mean that light is the cause of existence of the color or cause of existence of the life. This is what we imagine. And the Risale-i Nur takes it for the purpose of explaining the people. That's the text. So for the explaining the people, whatever you think of as the cause of something within this universe, no. Even that one needs to come in order to come into existence, even that one needs the source of existence of its own being, like the sun example. Sun needs to be created by a creator. It cannot really create and make itself imprisoned, confined to follow the order continuously in its orbit to turn and turn and turn. Because it's a slave. So we have to understand this causer of causes concept, but Greek, some ancient, some of them, not all of them, ancient Greek philosophers couldn't deny the source of existence and say there must be a creator of the universe altogether. But universe within itself, the things are tied up within each other in the context of cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. God is the one who caused all of them to come into existence. But the independent causes are acting independently, which is called or explained in the philosophy And there are some modern philosophers, even some, unfortunately, Muslim philosophers accepted the idea of domino effect. So the first one got moved. That is why they moved the first cause, and then the first cause produced others by themselves individually. That's why this domino effect is then used in some of the philosophers' language as mover of the mover, the mover of the mover. Of movers. I mean, I'm confusing with the language. The mover of the movers. Every mover here in the world, you see, it is started by God. And they say it is the awwal cause. It means in Ishraqi philosophy, there is somebody here who understands this kind of things. In Ishraqi philosophy, aql awwal. This God. The other in Ashara, Ushur, Uqul Ashara. Are you familiar with this one? 10 aql, 10 reasons.
The 10 intellects, yeah.
Yeah. So the 10 intellects, the first one is the first. And then second. That is the domino effect.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it entered into the Muslim philosophers' minds, and also some philosophers confused in this matter.
What I take from this verse when I
Yeah,
look at
of
it
course,
is also alongside what you've said, like more as a conclusion of what you said, is that for me to take anything as a ilah, right, or as a creator, as a cause, as a source of existence, it must demonstrate, or I must be able to observe that it is the Lord of the throne, in that it has authority to be the source of existence of the qualities that I am experiencing in this world.
And everything
Right.
at the moment now,
Yeah.
not from the beginning.
Yeah. So I think it's illustrating here to me the connection between taking something as a source of existence and the Rabbil Arsh, right? It has to have the demonstrated authority in this world. That my conception of a creator must be rooted in my observation of that witnessable authority
In the universe.
in the universe. Yeah.
So I think this is useful, a bit technical explanation, because there is a friend here who is specialized in the subject, and also, I mean, Farah also studying in these matters and investigating in this. It may be, for any reason, I'm not saying you don't know what you will learn, but we have to also see the relationship between the Muslim, the Quranic teaching, Muslim philosophy, and Greek philosophy, how they are really transmitted with each other, and the Quranic message is misunderstood in a literal sense, by literal. That is why literal reading of any book, but most important is the speech of absolute spirit, the speech of absolute knowledge of God, reflecting in the Quran. Literal reading is very dangerous, very misleading, although it looks very loyal. Yeah, look, I am obeying the literal, whatever it says. But that is your understanding of what it is. In fact, you have to understand it within the context of the Quran and say, literal meaning is this, but what it really means within the context of the Quran, take the meaning out of it is dictionary meaning, dictionary definition, and put it into the definition of the Quranic concepts and really harmonize it with the Quranic concept. That is why if somebody independently reads a verse and tries to understand, at the beginning, like the child or children starts learning when letters independently. A, B, C, and then syllables, and then words, and then small sentences, and then paragraph and whole text. And it takes how many years? Yeah, I mean, reading 6 months, 8 months, reading, only reading. But reading the speech of the absolute knowledge, reading the risale-i is adopting the same method of the Quran, reading the risale, taking a dictionary next to it, to start with, yes, necessary. But if you want to go into the meaning, you have to go stage, say, know that I am still learning how to read. Then, if you are able to understand a figure, an action of a figure in a novel, within the context of the novel itself, then you understand. Otherwise, you have to remain local. When you remain local, it is mostly misleading. That is why if you are investigating the meaning of a verse, we have to be extremely careful which source we are using.
What did you mean by local?
Local means the meaning of the sentence independently from the rest of the teachings of the Quran. For example, here, say, if there had been another gods with him, so let me understand, what does it mean? In Arabic, reading it, لو كان آلية إلا الله لفسدتها, we will continue now. لو كان معه آلية كما يقولون. Oh, this is another verse, but there is another verse. لو كان معه آلية إلا الله, something like that. There's another verse. I don't know. But this is also an example. It's a good one. لو كان معه آلهة. So I'm trying to understand it, but not relating to the following. يقولون إذن لا يبتغوا إلى ذي العرش سبيلا. But if you don't really see the sentence together, your understanding of لو كان معه آلهة will be local. Asim, is that answer you? So you have to see it in the context of the verse, but that is not enough.
Okay.
You have to see it in the context of the that section altogether. Section that is there will be a stage that it isn't even not enough. You have to see it in the context of the whole teaching of the Quran, or the teaching of the whole Quran. Not how. This is in practical and worldly secular science. You see a dictionary, which a person like me uses, common dictionary. But if someone specialized in medical studies, he has to have medical dictionary. The same word may be used in engineering, computer engineering. There is another one next to me, computer programming engineering, software engineer, whatever. So if you take this technical word used in medical studies and apply it in your let's say computer engineering, software engineering, you will fail and destroy the whole system. Why? The same word, but it has conceptually different meaning than it may be used in software engineering. So you have to have a software engineering dictionary to understand it. So we have to have a Quranic dictionary, unfortunately, practically speaking now, all the claims of dictionaries saying, I am the Quranic dictionary, they are just really not more than imitation of the ordinary lexions, Arabic lexions like risale-i. Nothing more than that. Quranic concepts are, if you want to use it, Al-Isfahani's book, it is still, but sometimes I refer to him. What was the, well, maybe you know Al-Isfahani, Istalahat al-Qur'ani, I think? No. Do you know Farah? Istalahat al-Qur'ani? I mean, there's no need.
I don't use it, no.
So, I mean, this Istalahat al-Qur'ani, as much as I know, is the best source, but still, sometimes I go and search there, not that the risale-i Nur makes, not that the risale-i Nur explains the concepts of the Quran, or not that Al-Isfahani, but this is what available source. Our friend is taking notes.
What was the text? The name of Isfahan in these texts?
I don't remember. I think Istalahat or something like that. If you are, maybe after the class we can.
It's not al-mufradat.
Al-Mufradat, yeah, man. Yeah, you see, you know better than me. You are letting me speak. So you should do. You say, shut up, Ali, you don't understand. Let me take the mic. So what we have to do, even this al-mufradat, I mean, much better than ordinary Arabic lexions, as far as the purpose of understanding the Quran is concerned, but not really always fulfills the mission, the expected mission. But we have to study the risale-i Nur in such a deep and careful way that we can understand how risale-i Nur is using the word arsh. Sometimes it has nothing to do with a particular verse, as it is here. You know, إذا لا لابتغوا إلى ذي العرش سبيلا. Not studying this. In a sentence, risale-i Nur just in order to explain the meaning of arsh, while he is studying, the author is studying a subject, what he does, squeezes the word arsh there. So when you see the Quranic concept used in the risale, you have to get alarmed. But this is only good for academicians and specialized people. You should get alert. This is a Quranic word. What is it to do with here now? In which context it is used? So you will get there, you will receive this message, and they say, the author is clever man. He said, if you want to be specialized in understanding the Quran, that is how you should understand the meaning of verse, the meaning of the word arsh I am explaining this subject. That is why the way this author makes commentaries on the Quran in such a way that you can see some examples and Rumi's writings and Ibn Arabi's writings, and in some really prominent Sufi shuyukh. They use the same pattern. Takes a verse, tells a story, and doesn't say anything. Why? You understand the story and the wisdom in the story, what it means. In the beginning, he quoted a verse or a piece of a verse. that is also possible. Anyway, every, that hologram, every piece of hologram represents the whole of it. Quran's message is a hologramic message. Every piece represents everything else, includes in it, vice versa. Then everything is, includes each other. So one thing is in need of to be explained in the existence of another thing, and the other one. Also physically, none of the atom can do anything within the universe if it is not understood within the context of other things. Like what is the word? Brick.
One brick.
Yeah, one brick.
Hmm.
One brick in and of itself is nothing. So what makes the brick useful when it is put in a particular place in the body of the building, that becomes meaningful. Now, if you take one brick there, the body will be lacking something, as if whole building needs every single brick, and every single brick needs to have a meaningful place existence as long as it is employed within the body of the whole building. So building needs the brick, each brick needs the building. That's a beautiful construction in the creation of the universe. Galaxies needs solar systems like this, whatever the galaxy used here, Milky Way galaxy. And every solar system needs the galaxy to act. So the galaxies also each galaxy needs the other galaxies in order to really move around according to the gravity of the other galaxies as well. Nothing can be independently studied. How dare that we can study the verses of the Quran independently? So we have to know our limits. This is what I understood according to the dictionary reading of it. Now, we see some tafsir in the tradition, Islamic tradition. I mean, they don't use ordinary dictionary. They use mufradat, al-mufradat, in order to have some sort of related to the context of it. Although it is not really the perfect example, we have to expand our experience going through every source that's available for us. Maybe I'm not really altogether happy with Sufi tradition, but the great scholars like Ibn Arabi must be studied seriously, how he deals with the Quranic verses. And Rumi is excellent to explain everything by story. Only the simple, not simple, really a bit complicated stories, but sometimes simple, So, for example, I love one of them here. I spoke a lot, so since the class is now the time is up, explains how does it appear in this context. Now, you can get from the Quran as according to what you are looking for. So if you are looking for example, the outward meaning of the Quran, you can get this one. If you are looking for literal meaning of the Quran, you can get this one. So he gives an example. Says, oh, people took a cow and said, look, there's a wonderful city, Baghdad, that time. Oh, such really extraordinary status as is compared to the rest of the world. It was the rest of the center of civilization, advanced society in a shopkeeper's house. The number of the books and knowledge was even larger than the university in Europe. So the cathedral universities this time, education centers in Europe. For example, let's say the university is based on 20 books. In one shopkeeper, he had 40 books and studies them. That was so they took the car to go through Baghdad, and they went from one end to the end of Baghdad, beautiful city. And at the end of their trip, if you like, journey, they asked Cow, what did you like? He said there was some watermelon skins. That was really delicious. Look, in a beautiful description of whatever your interest center is, you can get the Baghdad of the Quran. Be careful what you are looking for. Oh man. Beautiful explanation. Tafsir. I believe that tafsir must be like this. Must be descriptive, easy to understand, and relate to your reality. Not an academical collection of the previous information. Who was Pharaoh, when was he, but how long did he live? Who cares? Ramses II. No, Ramses I. The Quran mentions this one. There was a name there who was Qarun. No, Qarun was this, or not that. What's the point? What do they represent, man? What do they represent? Now we have to really make our mind. When I study the Quran, I have to question myself. What am I looking for? If I say, I'm just looking at our book, Quran, what does it say? I will understand. Okay, like how you will go and get what you want to get. Skin of, do you call skin of watermelon?
I think so.
Yeah.
Huh? No, okay, you can make it. Because, the animals love it. These domesticated animals really love the cow. I don't know. In my childhood, we had a cow. When we had the opportunity to have a watermelon, my mother used to take it Now, it means really check what you want to do. Not only good intention, bad intention. We cannot say, I have a bad intention. That's why I got the Quran in my hand and studying. No. Other people don't do that. Usually, only if you hand to, these people of nifas. Bad intention people do that. But generally people take it with a good intention. But what are you looking for? You have to know that when you take the book in your hand, when any translation of the Quran, even you are an native Arabic speaker, still reading the Quran is different from your language in the street. So when you take it, you have to know that you are just learning the alphabet. Now, even you don't know how to read alphabet. And then if you read the second time, now you upgraded your level before the Quran at the level of, syllables. We have to know our limits. We have to know our limits, even and everywhere. If you want to study, I don't know what, let's say biology, You have to start from the very beginning. If you don't memorize the names of the bones, how it is called technically in medical studies, in the second year of medical studies, which is called anatomy, every student really struggles with it. So then you have to know that I'm a doctor. No, I'm just learning the names of the bones. That's it. But if you ask a medical student, he will say, no, I'm not a doctor. No, admit it. But when we get the Quran in our hand, read the translation from another English sources, we speak as if we are the scholar of the Quran. That is a strange age. But you say, Ali, when you were young, didn't you do the same thing? Yes, I did. I'm sorry. I was absolutely wrong. That is why I am sharing my feelings. Sorry, I know I took over all the classes here because the subject was very hot. I'm sorry, but not sorry because I used your time. Inshallah, it is not for nothing. It is a beautiful subject. I apologize for any of you if I really say something just wasting your time. Thank you, moderator. I hope you will forgive me. I am not the moderator, but I did took over your mission. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah, was very beneficial. Thank you. Keep the comments coming. That's very good. So we can discuss beneficial matters. So inshallah, we'll stop here. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma alamtana innaka anta alimul hakim wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen bi hurmati sirrati surat al-Fatiha. Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.